the compulsory buying of insurance and the distinct possibility of rationing of needed medical supplies, how does that contravene Amendment 5, the clause, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law? And where does this entire...
I'm listening. I'm talking about AD.
What is this? You're legal at all under your powers enumerated?
Okay, we got an idea. Rachel, Vanessa, can you turn your microphones off?
Enumerated by Section 1, Article 8 of the, Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution.
How is this an enumerated right or benefit? How is this constitutional?
How is this entire plan constitutional under Article 1, Section 8, your enumerated powers at all? And will the buying, compulsory buying of...
Right. Okay, let me first say, so
the young lady's doing the mics.
let's have one microphone on at a time. I think that's missing enough. So turn them off and then we'll turn one on. And maybe I'll turn mine off then while the person's talking. That means sort this microphone issue out. So the answer you will get to that question, which I have asked myself, is the General Welfare Clause. Is under which authority in the Constitution that something like this is made possible. Now, are there things that compel Americans to do things in law right now that have been deemed constitutional? Yes, there are. Is mandating health insurance purchasing one of those things? We can have a very good debate about it, but my guess is the Supreme Court would affirm that that is constitutional. Where the constitutionality of this will come due, where scholars have been telling Congress, is when you have the government inserting itself in the provision of health care. When a rationing decision occurs, whereby a government agency determines what a doctor can and cannot prescribe, what will be paid for, what will not be paid for, in order to extend a person's life, that is where the constitutionality of this comes into question. And it will only occur until after this would have been in law, this would have occurred, and someone then would have filed suit against the government based upon their rights under the Constitution, that this would be unconstitutional. And so most of the constitutional discussion, which there's a raging one about this, occurs over or around the notion of the government determining how care or if care is to be delivered for people. Even if people want if their physicians want them to have, let's say the physician, my mother-in-law is a good example. God bless her, she's had her third cancer. She had melanoma, breast cancer, and now she has stage 3 ovarian cancer. She's been fighting it for a few years. The typical stuff, the radiation, the chemo wasn't working. She's got this great doctor, who's sort of an outside-the-box thinker, and she recommended to her that she gets this drug called Avastin. It's a great new cancer drug that works for colorectal, breast, and it hasn't really necessarily been tried as much for ovarian. It's working, and she's knocking on the door of remission. She got her CAT scans last night, and we're waiting to get the results tomorrow, literally. So we're really praying about this. But if you're in England, you can't get that drug. They disallow it. They deny it. You can't even pay for it out of pocket if you have the money to pay for it. We don't want the government in the position of ever denying that kind of care to people. Where you will see constitutional challenges, not over the taxing or not over the mandates, but over the access issues.